Hi Umang, how are you?
I'm good, Anshuman. How about you?
Good. So you are about to marry one of my friends from college, one of my best friends actually. Before we get to that topic and all that I have to say, why don't you tell us what you do, who you are as a person?
Sure. My name is Umang, as you know, and I work in the business of beauty. I work as a national training manager and also like a head makeup artist position for a US based beauty brand. It's called Benefit Cosmetics, as you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my scope of work pretty much includes dealing with makeup, beauty, a little bit of like influencer marketing,
Right.
and yeah, just fun stuff, honestly.
How did you get into it? How did you start? Like, what was, because you once told me you studied history, right, in college?
I did. So
Yeah.
honestly, I know that we will talk about this further, but I grew up in a single parent home. So my mother always had this entire conversation with us at a very young age that you've got to make it on your own
Right.
and you need to study for it. Like
Right,
it was
right.
just the thought process from the beginning.
Yeah, that was something-
academic, and I think that's
Yeah.
in every
In
household.
most households is what is told.
So, having said that, I remember in my 12th grade, my mother sat me down one day and she said, देखो बेटा, मेरे पास पैसे नहीं हैं. तो अगर DU यूनिवर्सिटी में ले सकते हो एडमिशन, so you take it.
Right.
Because I cannot afford private education for
Right.
you. And for me, that was like, dude, okay, like, you know what? If I don't do this, if I don't study,
Right.
I will not score, and hence that means I will not enjoy a college life. So
Right.
my driver to do anything in life was the fact that I want to go to college. I want the whole Delhi University life,
Yeah.
and I want to chill, and I want
Yeah.
to go to, you know, GK Market to eat momos, and
Of
like
course.
that was my driver
Yeah,
to go to
yeah.
college. And also the fact that yes, I was like, dude, education तो चाहिए ही है.
Yeah. वो तो हो ही जाएगा साइड में.
वो तो हो ही जाएगा. वैसे वो होता नहीं है, but
I know.
okay. So that was pretty much what she told me, and then I started to work for like my 12th boards, and I scored decently well, and I got admission in LSR.
Oh, then you
And,
must have scored really well.
I did. I
Yeah.
don't know how. I still remember the day I was checking my board exam. I'm very like, what crazy, because I was just like looking at the screen, and you know how it is, right? They just upload it like
Yeah.
every minute. I was refreshing the page and checking my board exam, and when it came, the result came, I was like, oh my god, I have scored well. How have
Yeah.
I scored 98 in English? I still
Whoa.
don't know. So it was good. I mean, I managed to get admission in LSR, and it was honestly one of the most best academic experiences for me. Not for the fact that what it taught me, because I didn't care much for. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Who knows?
Yeah. At that
How-
age, we are all figuring out.
I'm just like, हाँ कर लेंगे, you know,
Yeah.
teacher बन जाएंगे. I'll become a lecturer in history just because I liked history in
Right.
school. And the funny thing was, history was nothing like what it was in school. It was
How
so history in college is taught in such a boring manner. In such a, the syllabus, the way it is taught
Yeah.
is just so redundant, because they teach you, and I understand basically when you move into an honors course
Right.
in any subject, it kind of moves into talking about like how things were corroborated, what historians said what, and for me history was storytelling.
Oh.
So that entire thing went out of the window, because
Right,
there
right.
was really no storytelling in
Right.
classes. It was more like, you know, this historian William Dalrymple or whatever said this, and then the other person said
Right.
this, and then they argued, and then
Oh.
you know, like that was education
Right,
for me
right,
in
right.
college, and it was,
It does sound a little boring.
it was very boring.
Yeah.
So anyway, that happened. I did it, and suddenly I remember in second year college when I knew that अगले साल I have to decide, you know, because that conversation again starts to happen.
Yeah. Third year में आते हैं.
अब क्या, like college तो खत्म हो रहा है.
Mhm.
And then I started thinking कि oh god, this is so boring, I can't do this, because initial thought was करेंगे history honors,
Yeah.
उसके बाद हम MA करेंगे, फिर MPhil करेंगे, फिर MPhil के बाद हम PhD
Yeah,
करेंगे,
yeah.
और फिर ऐसे ऐसे करके I'll become a doctor and I'll
Of
be a
course.
lecturer in LSR only.
Life set हो जाएगी.
Life set हो जाएगी, government job होएगी, and all of that.
Hmm.
And my mother had that thought because she was like,
Right.
it's great, academic, LSR, brilliant.
और क्या हो सकता है इससे अच्छा?
It was so boring. And at the same time, I saw my sister because she did sociology honors from Venkateshwar.
Okay.
And she also went through the same thing because she
Right.
and I have an age gap of about 8 years.
Okay.
So she felt the same thing. She did this and then she gave a law entrance and then she gave an MBA entrance and trying to figure out, and then finally eventually ended up doing mass comm. कि
Right.
मतलब यार ये तो सब बहुत ही बोरिंग है
Yeah.
और कहीं नहीं हो रहा है एंट्रेंस में,
Right.
कहीं नहीं एडमिशन मिल रहा है, सो मास कम्युनिकेशन कर लेते हैं
Right,
and
right.
I'll become a reporter or something.
Okay. So her story is a little similar to mine. Okay.
Yeah, you guys are mass comm
Yeah, yeah.
students, so you would know. So at that time, by that time, thankfully, I had her as an elder sibling, so I had the opportunity to discuss with her and say कि यार ये तो बहुत ही boring है, मुझे इसके आगे कुछ नहीं करना है. And I remember her telling me that yeah, of course,
Yeah.
just there are lots of other avenues. There
Right.
are so many other things. What interests you? And I told her at that time that I love beauty. I love I love makeup. I would always like rummage through makeup, and I thought हर लड़की को अच्छा लगता है. Like
Right,
what is
right.
the big deal? I used to like
Yeah.
dressing up. I used to like going through magazines and like looking at looks and how they've done it, etc. And I never paid attention to it, thinking कि it could be a career or it is a career.
Yeah.
Because शुरू से वो parents ने भी drill किया हुआ है दिमाग में कि नहीं पढ़ाई.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
gives
an
you a
established
career.
career and reputation and all of those things.
Exactly. So I remember she was basically working as a features editor in Marie Claire magazine at that
Okay.
time, and she said, Umang, it's a legit money making line. Go
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
If you want to become a makeup artist, I know how much I am paying makeup artists.
Right.
So अगर करना है तो do a course. And to be honest, we didn't even have enough money to pay for a course at that time for
Okay.
a makeup.
So they had courses at that time.
There were, but there were very few.
Okay.
And there was a Delhi-based makeup artist, and she did like a 2-week course, and she was
Okay,
very
so the
popular.
courses were by artists. It's not by institutes.
No, because शुरू में जब मैंने देखना शुरू किया कि भाई सीखते कहाँ से हैं, अगर प्रोफेशनली
Yeah.
सीखना है तो where do you go for something like this?
Yeah, I've always wondered.
One was Bombay. I was like,
Okay.
मैं तो नहीं जा सकती, afford कौन करेगा वहाँ
Right,
है ना, for a month or 2 months.
Right.
And there were courses which were longer, so and I wanted to do something in the middle of college, so summer vacation.
Okay.
I wanted कि उसी वक्त I do a short course and then I figure out if I like it or not.
Right.
And then basically I ended up doing this course because Ishita knew some makeup artist and she said ये कर ले,
Right.
she's good. And that gave me confidence in realizing that yes, I love it.
Okay.
I do love this. I
Right.
really enjoy this, and I also realized that I'm good at it.
Okay.
Because there were other people in the class,
Yeah, yeah.
and you compare, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, मैं तो इनसे कहीं ज़्यादा smart
Exactly.
हूँ.
Sometimes that happens. I know what you're saying.
So
Like, no offense to anyone, but yeah.
no, full offense. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Who cares?
So yeah, basically that's what happened, and I did the course, and honestly I remember कि second year की छुट्टियों में किया था मैंने ये.
अच्छा.
In my second year college, that some break. And at that time when I did it, I was like, अच्छा अब क्या? Because अभी भी वो question mark तो है कि आगे what do you have to do like further going forward. So in any case, it happened and college finished and I still had that thing.
Yeah.
I still had done that course and I knew that I didn't want to immediately study. That thought was like, hi, ek aur degree, like no, I don't want to go into another course and do this. So
Right.
no. So basically, I ended up getting through the course I had done and the makeup artist who I had done it with, she actually helped me get a job with MAC Cosmetics.
Okay.
And it kind of still is, but at that time it was the only and the biggest player in international beauty brand in the country. They were the only ones who had a presence because now though it's exploding, the industry is exploding. There are so many brands coming in, there's so much exposure, Instagram and whatnot. Tab nahi tha, there was no Instagram, there was nothing even on Facebook. I mean, the maximum thing there was like posting music on each other's wall. So there was no like
those days, huh?
Yeah, those
harmless days of social media.
I swear, yeah. Oh my god. तो बेसिकली मैं गई इंटरव्यू के लिए.
So Mac is an American company.
It is a Canadian company.
It's a Canadian company.
And extremely huge worldwide. It's basically under the wing of Elka, which is one of the biggest giants. It's Estee Lauder companies. So it has like beauty brands which are like so many beauty brands under it. Like all these Clinique and Mac
I've heard. Clinique
Estee Lauder and like there are so many brands that come under the wing of Elka.
Okay.
And I went for the interview, and a woman who interviewed me said it's a 6-day working. You will not get weekends off. You will be working weekends. It's almost about 8 to 10 hours of a standing job. And wear comfortable shoes.
Right.
You have to put makeup on other people. You learn along the way, and we will give you free makeup. And 30,000 is your salary.
Wow.
Kid out of college.
Yeah, why not?
Play with makeup. 30,000 rupees in your hand. Be in a mall all day. I was like,
what else do you need?
Life ही बन गई मतलब ये
exactly.
तो what just happened to me? This is a dream come true. And honestly, it really was. It taught me so much. I'm so thankful to that brand because they really honed me as an artist and also gave me an understanding of the industry.
Right.
Like कि होता क्या है, because they gave me an opportunity to go backstage. I worked a few fashion weeks. I went backstage and I saw the world of fashion and I knew I wanted nothing to do with it.
Why so?
It's very shallow. I mean, my interaction was very minimal with it because I was a young girl who was honestly a backstage coordinator.
Right.
Like the first time they took me backstage, my job was model को लाके कुर्सी में बिठाना है and then she has to get her makeup.
So you would do their makeup?
No, initially the first time they don't take you as an artist because it's overwhelming. Backstage is like a high pressure environment.
Right. Very
high pressure because models are coming, they're late, some of them are stoned, some of them, you know, they're rude and you tell them not to smoke, they light a cigarette. It's a lot of, it's a messy environment.
Yeah.
So the first time they took me was to judge how do I handle the pressure. So they take you as a coordinator, which is basically just a dignified assistant. So for me it was like prepare snack packets, make sure everyone's brushes are clean, and I was doing like an assistant job. And it was great. Like I thrived. I realized कि यार ये तो बड़ा मजा आता है. This is fab. Like I work well under pressure.
Right.
And basically yes, but what I also realized was that it's very shallow, and I don't think I want to
be on the other side of it.
Yeah, like I don't want to fully immerse. Like this is good, but I don't think I want to fully be in this industry interacting with these people all the time and having them as friends somehow.
Okay.
And it's crazy. I knew that at a very young age. I was 20.
It's easy for a lot of people to actually crave to be on the other side if you have that exposure early on. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot, you know. Suddenly you see, like at that time I remember Madhuri Dixit came backstage, Kangana Ranaut came backstage, and all these like big names were coming backstage, and I was looking at them and thinking ki kitna cool hai yaar, this is a cool job. And like the way I'm saying the brand honed me in a way is that it was mandatory to act cool around celebrities. Like we were told never to ask for a photograph.
Of course.
Never to act like you are in the presence of a celebrity.
Right.
You were literally told they will enter. You will just ask them for water. You will ask them to sit down, and that's it.
Right.
So it also sort of like hones your personality to deal with situations like this. जब कोई important enter करता है कमरे में तो what is your behavior?
Like hold yourself together. Don't get overwhelmed.
ये सब भी तो सीखना पड़ता है. Like you don't really know this, especially as a young girl or child or kid or anyone in any industry. So basically all of that happened. I did that job for 2 years. Fab experience. I eventually got tired of in a retail job. And I wanted to study further. Because मुझे लगा कि यार education तो फिर रह जाएगा. By that time I realized I took that 2 years to have fun, learn a skill, understand a new industry, and then I was like, अच्छा, अब now I need to study a little bit. Then I gave entrances to the postgrad ke liye, and I ended up doing FRM, which is fashion retail management, because I thought it'll sort of go with my interest.
So that was from an institute.
That was from NIFT, Delhi.
From NIFT, okay. So they have those courses.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did that. Honestly, the course didn't teach me anything new that I hadn't already learned on the job.
Right.
I was in a high pressure retail environment in a store.
Right.
So I knew कि CRM क्या होता है, customer relationship क्या होता है.
Yeah.
I knew कि inventory क्या होती है. Like there were these words thrown to kids which were new to them.
Freshers.
कि okay, inventory management. मुझे पता था कि क्या होता है because I had done it.
Yeah.
So
sometimes these words are just fancy way of saying simple things.
Yeah,
inventory management.
सामान आया दुकान में लगा दो and उसको system में डाल दो and that's inventory management. Exactly. Pretty much. So yeah, I did that and that was a 1-year course. It was a diploma course.
Okay.
Evening classes होती थी and साथ में I started freelancing.
Okay.
So I started picking up like projects like किसी का makeup करना है.
Right.
Bride है. कोई shoot है, something है. So work started coming through word of mouth, which was fab because at that time I had just started posting them thoda on my Facebook. There was no social media as such. And yeah, like freelanced for a really long time, did my course. And suddenly out of nowhere, I got a call from my manager who was at Mac, my store manager.
Okay.
And that was such a big learning for me in life, and I really realized that always leave a job on a good note.
True.
You know, always have very good relationships when you move on from one place to another, because he would have never recommended me if I would have left it a sour note or would have, you know, not given my notice period and all of that. And these are learnings you learn as a professional. Because then he called me and he said, I want to recommend you for a job. It's perfect for you.
Okay.
You know, go meet this woman. She's heading Benefit in India. And they are looking for, you know, like a person who has a good personality, who can be a trainer, who can teach makeup and can teach like people skills.
Right.
So how to sell, how to talk, what body language to have, etc. I was like, okay, ठीक है, मिल लेती हूँ. I was really not looking for a job as such because I was freelancing. And plus I started, मैं पता नहीं बड़ा कुछ कर लिया. Now I'm talking about my journey, I'm thinking कि हाँ यार, मतलब I always think like I haven't done much, but I was like, okay, ठीक है, I've done a decent amount.
Yeah.
I opened a studio in the middle of all of this.
Right.
Because I started to freelance. And then at a very young age, I was 25. And I thought, जो पैसे बचाए हैं, I will put it into a salon cum studio. I will open a small salon setup. And so much learning from that. Oh my God. Like, आज अगर मैं खोलूं, if I open my own enterprise, I will have a much better hold of it than I had at 25.
Of course.
Probably I'll still not have the full grasp of it, but
what will be different?
I'll know how to be more strict with people.
Get shit done.
Right. Like at that time, I had a team of about 5 people who were like one hairdresser, one assistant, one whatever. Jo be like normal, you hire staff. And they would be, you know, chutti maar lenge and I wouldn't say anything. Like I didn't know how to manage, you know, and be like, dude, hello, kahan ho tum? But now, because I've done this job and I've managed a team and all of that, and now I feel if somebody works under me, I could be a hard boss, which I couldn't be earlier because it's required.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I did that for 2 years and I couldn't manage it. I was like, सारी savings गई, पैसा आया नहीं वापस, and it was a failure of sorts. I didn't enjoy the process as much as I thought I would.
Right.
And so I decided to shut it. Because फिर नौकरी भी मिल गई थी. Luckily, I had found a job in the middle of all of this, and I was like, okay, so I will just, you know, I'll do this. This is fab. And this job gave me immense exposure, immense travel. I was lucky enough to, you know, land in a job in my line, in my interest, and it, you know, has given me. I'm still with them, so it says a lot about the brand.
Yeah. This benefit is based out of?
It's a San Francisco based brand started by 2 women in the 1970s.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's a women led brand. And it's all about like instant beauty solutions. So it's not like a hardcore makeup brand, but it's more like a girl on the go. You know, a girl who needs like 5 products. She doesn't have time to do a full makeup tutorial every morning.
Right.
but she just needs 5 products to feel
Right.
good.
Okay.
So that's the philosophy that
Okay.
it stems from.
More handy approach to.
More handy approach,
Right.
more fun approach to makeup. So basically, ये था, and that this is where I am. So that has been my work journey.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So did you have to negotiate to like do what you do? Did you have to negotiate at home with your mother probably that this is the career you were picking?
Oh yes, I had a major conversation and quite a few fights because my sister, like I said, having working in where she was working,
Right.
she backed me up and said ki nahi mom, it's a legit career.
Right.
Usko follow karne do, let her go for it,
Yeah.
because it can lead to good things for her.
Yeah.
And I remember my mother saying, even though she is an extremely forward woman, you met her a few times, so you'll probably
Yeah.
get the vibe that she's a forward woman.
Yeah.
You know, she's a single parent. She's
Yeah.
done things on her own, but at the same time, she was always scared that we might fail or lose our way.
Right, right.
You know, in the process. So I remember her telling me like, मतलब मैं LSR गई है तू ब्यूटिशियन बनेगी, मतलब पार्लर में काम करेगी तू. And I told her, दुकान में खड़ी होगी तू. Like that was the things I heard. Like you'll stand in a shop.
Right,
This is what you went to
right.
LSR for. And I then धीरे धीरे she came around. We had a few fights, and you know, after quite a few heated discussions and me crying and saying मुझे करने दो, and my sister saying that let her, you know, so what, even if she fails, she'll go back to studying.
Yeah.
So she said, it was actually her who said, I'll give you 2 years. Do this. After 2 years, I want you to do something more. Get one post graduation. उनके
Right.
दिमाग में वो शुरू से था कि बस
पढ़ाई पूरी
graduation
होनी चाहिए.
graduation करके छोड़ दोगी बस. तो ठीक है, मैंने कर लिया वो.
Right.
I took a break. I did it, and then I went back. मुझे खुद ही realize हो
Yeah,
गया
yeah,
कि हाँ पढ़ लेती हूँ और
It'll add some value.
yeah. वैसे तो करा नहीं value.
Yeah, yeah, but still.
On paper it does
Exactly.
add value that
On
yes,
your
I'm a
CV only.
postgraduate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting process, and now she's so proud.
Right.
She's so happy that, you know, I followed my dream. I actually did something, and when I started earning money and I started earning decent money, I started making a living. She then one day told me also, she was like, yes, I was wrong about it. I feel like it's very good that you did this and you followed your dream, because at the end of the day when you see कि monetarily ठीक रहा है, तो फिर वो सब ठीक हो जाता है.
It is a dependable career. That's what parents want to see, right?
Yeah.
So how does decision making work in your house? Like you have grown up in an all female household, right? And like you've grown up in that environment since early on.
Yeah.
So how does the dynamic work?
It's interesting. It's interesting because I'll tell you how it's interesting. It's interesting because अब मुझे लगता है having a male figure in my life, like having Vikram around, I realized that I have never had a authoritative or commanding male figure in my life. So whenever we have to make a decision,
right.
I come out so strong because I have never had a male presence.
Right.
Because in any Indian household, especially in the growing up in the early 90s,
right.
and probably even now, it's always the men of the house deciding the bigger decisions. कहीं जाना है पापा से पूछो, ये खरीदना है पापा से पूछो, ये करना है पापा से पूछो. So it was always, for me it was always एक ही parent था, तो पैसे भी वहीं से मांगने हैं, permission भी वहीं से मांगनी है, प्यार भी वहीं से मिलेगा. Like there's only one person.
True.
But now I'm sort of getting used to the idea that okay, there is a male figure in my life who will be taking decisions with me together, because I can't come off so strong. And decision making has always been my mother, and then later my sister. When my sister grew up and started supporting the family a lot, it also became both of them. So I was honestly shielded for a very long part of the struggle, because my mother decided to separate when I was 8 years old. So I was very young, and for me it was very confusing, because मुझे नहीं समझ में आया था कि why are we moving to Nani house?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like why are we why are we leaving from
Yeah.
here and why are we going? And initially in the first couple of years of the separation, I remember I used to be like, मुझे वापस जाना है, मुझे दादी घर जाना है, and, you know, all of that. And eventually I understood that what is the reason and why is they've separated.
Right.
So yeah, decision making for a very long time, since 8. So since 8
That
years
was
old,
quite a young age.
Yeah.
You think that created an impression on how you saw things after that?
In what way? Like, in what way do you mean how I saw things?
Like, because in like back when you were 8, it wouldn't have been that common, right, for people to separate, especially people like your friends who were still growing up with both their parents.
Yeah.
So did that affect how you saw other people or other people's relationships, or did not affect you in any way?
No, it must have. Honestly, I don't remember much of it now because it was so many years ago.
So early on, yeah.
And
plus you've grown up, like you've grown over it so much.
I've grown over it. I've understood it so many times that I must have analyzed it in my head so many times that now it became like normal, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember initially, yes, because this is a question which is asked by everybody across India or across any middle class family.
Yeah.
Hello beta, what is your name? Umang. What does your father do?
Right. It's like the most obvious second question.
It is the most obvious second question. And every time I had to think, oh, he does nothing. You know, because he was not working.
Right.
And that was the main reason of the separation between my parents, because he did not want to work in life and the burden was always on my mother.
Right. And she was working even then.
She never had a choice in life to leave work because बच्चे हो गए, and then husband wasn't working, so she had to always have a job. No matter if she's pregnant, she's given birth, anything, she was working. Yeah, so the most obvious, I remember feeling that at times because somebody would ask me, so what, आपके पापा क्या करते हैं? What does your father do? And I wouldn't know what to say. So many times I used to be like कि मेरा मन करता था बोलने का कि मेरी मम्मी ये करती हैं, कि वो क्यों नहीं पूछ रहे आप से कि like, you know,
when she's doing everything she has to do, or anyone's father would do.
And then eventually I obviously started addressing this back home, and I said, Mama, क्या बोला करूँ जब कोई पूछता है what does he do, so what should I be saying? She just say the truth, that you don't live with him anymore, and he does nothing. You know, he stays at home. So that was very interesting for me because then I did start to say the truth, and it was quite liberating. You know, they don't live together, they're separated. And I still remember even children, you know, in my college school, not college but school, would be like, oh okay, like oh, your parents are divorced, like like it was a big thing for them to hear.
And also nobody prepares you how to like how to respond to somebody when they tell you that they only live with one of their parents. Right, because it's never taught, it's never part of a household conversation.
Never.
Right.
Absolutely never. But at the same time, because thankfully I had mom established such a good relationship with us, and it was always open to dialogue. She always addressed anything that we asked and gave us an honest answer. That helped a lot. Because she was just such a strong female presence in the house who dealt with everything. You know, all our concerns, be it like kuch chahiye hai, emotionally, boy trouble. Like, you know, there were times when I remember I started to like boys and all of that, and I remember my mom saying when I turned 16, she was like, go make a boyfriend. You know, go.
Okay.
Find a boy. Find a cute boy, make a boyfriend. Have your first boyfriend in life. So literally, my first experience having a boyfriend was my mother and my sister sort of talking to the first boy I dated and having him propose to me on my birthday.
Okay.
It was really cute. Like, they schemed with him and made him come over, and he proposed to me on my 16th birthday. And so that's the kind of house I grew up in, that she gave me the liberty to sort of, you know, never feel that I didn't have a parent.
And also to venture on your own, like not just in terms of what work you do, but the experiences of life that you'll have.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Independence was drilled into
Right.
us. Drilled. Like literally, you wouldn't believe. Normally, मैं नहीं बोलूँगी हर कोई, but so many times the females of the house are scared of so many things. Like I
Yeah.
remember when Ishita and I both started to learn to drive.
Yeah.
My mother said, बैठो, चलो रोड पे. मैं बैठ रही हूँ ना, क्या होएगा? ठुक जाएगी गाड़ी? कोई बात नहीं. चल लेके चल, कुछ नहीं होगा. And I remember now, when I look back, I remember if I'm a parent.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, no, ऐसे कैसे? How will you go out? Like I might feel
a bit protective.
Yeah. But my mother, because she had to do everything on her own.
Yeah.
She was like, क्या होएगा? ठोक देगी ना गाड़ी?
Yeah.
ठोक, कोई बात नहीं.
Yeah,
Nothing
because
will
she had
happen.
seen everything on her own and she was confident that you will do. Right.
Yeah, and again, even for public transport.
Mm-hmm.
The way I turned 16 and my
Right.
mother said, go have a boyfriend. I remember my sister turned 16 and my mom said, meet me in CP.
Mm-hmm.
Make Umang wear her cute clothes. Get on a DTC bus. ये
Right.
बस तुमने यहाँ से पकड़नी है. यहाँ उतरोगे.
Right.
CP का गोल चक्कर है. वहाँ से एक और बस पकड़ोगे. मुझे यहाँ मिलोगे. मैं वहाँ खड़ी हुई होंगी. और तब मोबाइल नहीं होते थे.
हाँ.
कोई फोन नहीं होता था. कुछ
Right,
नहीं होता
right.
था. तो she gave us instructions to 2 kids.
Wow.
To get up, sit in a DTC
Yeah.
bus, come down and meet her. And
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
And I remember Ishita feeling scared also कि you know मम्मी उमंग है मेरे साथ. कुछ नहीं होएगा. Just be brave. You are you know going in the middle of the day in Delhi.
Yeah.
You're a grown up girl. Just you'll do it. And I'll see you in 40 minutes. You'll reach me. And we did. And we saw a movie then after at Chanakya. I still remember.
Okay.
So it's been really nice.
Right.
Like I've never felt कि parent नहीं था. Because मेरे लिए functions पूरे हुए दोनों parents.
Right.
So I never felt कि like I've seen now, not anymore thankfully, because life progressed. But at that time when my mother was a single earning member, I've seen like tangi, पैसे की tangi,
Right,
like
right.
literally कि she couldn't afford next month's school fees for me. And she was like scrambling to make ends meet.
Right.
To make sure that my school fees is met and you know Ishita college ka aana jana is
Right.
met and all of that. So I've seen her do all of that. So for me it was like dono hi function pure ho rahe hain, to you know it's always been like that. And now it has progressed to still, for everything I look up at her, but now it's coming to the fact that decision making is moving more to Ishita and me.
Yeah.
And she is sort of going in the
Taking a
background. She's
backseat.
having trouble adjusting.
Really? How so? It's actually something that I can relate to, because parents at this stage do have trouble initially adjusting.
How
that,
so?
okay.
How so? Like how do you experience
I think they expect you to do some things, but they're also not immediately comfortable not being in charge. So
I swear.
it's bit of an internal battle in them, especially because you are financially independent, and not just for yourself, you can get things done for the household.
Yeah.
And you are more aware of, you know, what's the latest in, you know, how do you want to plan your money, for example, where do you want to go to travel, all those decisions.
Yeah.
What do you want to do for the family, what do you want to order to eat, because they're not aware of all those things, what's
Right.
happening latest in the market,
yeah.
right? And then बचपन में they were the one taking you around कि गाड़ी में बैठो वहाँ जाओ and they know कि कहाँ क्या करना है, and they will decide what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
But now I feel they feel a little reluctant. They in a way are happy that you're doing things on your own and you can take care of everything, but they're also in a way thinking that, okay, how do I plan my own life? Like, what do I do when I'm not making decisions?
It is, and it's so hard for them to take a backseat of sorts, because honestly, like again, for my mother, like, and I'm sure even in your house, they're so used to taking care of every small and large thing,
Right.
that it gets interesting when जब कुछ हो जाता है, and then you
Yeah.
just tell them ये तो हो गया.
Yeah.
And then, कर भी लिया तुमने?
Exactly.
ये हो भी गया? तो कितने खर्च करे तुमने?
हाँ.
कितने अच्छा पैसे कितने दिए? Like they
Exactly.
want to know the smaller details of
Yeah.
have you done this?
उनको process में ज़्यादा मजा आता है. कि फिर क्या किया?
फिर क्या किया, क्या बोला क्या, नहीं ये ठीक नहीं है, मुझे पता है ऐसे कैसे करना है. सो वो भी इंटरेस्टिंग होता है. मतलब नाउ ऑब्वियसली आई फील दैट सो मेनी टाइम्स बिकॉज वी आर ऑफ दिस जनरेशन, आई जस्ट शान अरे आपको नहीं पता, ये हो चुका है.
This is something I do too, and I realize probably I shouldn't be doing it. That take them through the process a little bit. Probably they want to like live that experience, through you. So yeah, it's interesting. What's also interesting is that besides having 3 females in your house and your nanny, like 4 females, you also have 3 more females as your dogs. So you really, like, I think now that you're getting married, right, is when you'll be like having an active testosterone in your household for the first time.
It's funny because I always tell, so literally my Wi-Fi, घर का Wi-Fi का नाम is mental. Because it is such a mental household. So I remember the Wi-Fi का आंसर कि मैम नाम क्या रखना है, हम तीनों ने एक दूसरे को देखा, we were like पागल घर है.
Yeah.
So like mental. That's the name of the Wi-Fi in this house. Right. Because there's so much female energy, and it clashes like all the time because everyone is independent, everyone has a say, everyone is driven, everyone wants a piece of the pie in terms of like thought process, decision making. So yeah, it's my nani, then my mother, then sister, me, my house help who's also female, and then 3 female dogs in the house. So yes, it is mad. So you can imagine कि जब कभी घंटी बजती है तो 3 कुत्ते भौंकने लग जाते हैं, एक बंदा ऊपर से चिल्लाता है कौन आया है, तीसरा बोलता है वो आया होगा. So it's a loud female led household.
Right.
And in fact, you're saying that, and yesterday I went and took the keys to the new house where Vikram and I will be moving, and after getting married, and I sat in that house and it was silent, like silent. I was standing alone in the house and I was like, it felt so strange to me standing in a house जहाँ कुत्ते नहीं है, कोई भौंक नहीं रहा, कोई kitchen से चिल्ला नहीं रहा, my nanny is not cribbing. I suddenly was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to get used to this peace because I'm not used to it. And my first response was, I called mom and I was like, idhar aa jao. Like come here for 5 minutes and just help me sort of like understand कि कहाँ क्या रखना है, because I suddenly felt कि मैंने अकेले तो कुछ किया ही नहीं है life में. I've always had such strong support.
Exactly.
कि मुझे आता ही नहीं है कि अकेले घर सेटअप करना. Like I'll constantly, I know how to do it, but I still constantly want them to be part of the process.
So you'll be marrying somebody you met on Tinder, right? And how's that journey been? Like Tinder is something that the first impression of meeting someone on Tinder is not that I'm going to one day marry this person.
Not at all.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Not
we
at
know
all.
the right purposes of Tinder. So what was like that journey like?
Honestly यार मैं बहुत ही lucky हुई हूँ इस मामले में. Like I would say I've been like just blessed with finding somebody so interesting, and then eventually like marrying him now.
Right.
So dating was how dating is in today's day and age. I was going on a few dates because socially तुम किसको मिलते हो, तुम्हारा एक ही friend circle होता है, तुम उन्हीं को मिलते हो. And the only social place I used to go to was the gym, where you would have a bunch of idiots. So that was my only social interaction as far as घर से निकल के कहीं जाना ना, अजनबियों के साथ तुम
like hyper fit men.
So I did a few Tinder dates, failed miserably. मतलब I was like, dude, and I went through that entire cycle जो सब लोग जाते हैं. Tinder download किया एक दिन, फिर कुछ की थोड़ा swipe किया, फिर किसी को मिले, बात करी, hated it, deleted the app, uninstalled, this is shit.
But a few days later, you know what?
And then 2 months later, you have one lonely evening. You have 3 glasses of wine, and you're like, come
something's
on,
not clicking in life.
Like, मतलब कुछ interesting चाहिए. And honestly, it's not. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was looking for interesting interaction, be it emotional, physical, spiritual, anything. I just wanted an interesting interaction with another human being who I would feel attracted to. And we swiped right, and the first thing he said to me was, I do like a girl who has a nose pin. and nose ring or something like that he wrote. And I was like, okay, hi, hello, how are you, la la la. And then he was very different because a lot of times, I went through this cycle a bunch of times where boys would be like, so what do you do? And then you would say la 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 la. And then it was like, okay, who all are in there in your house? And then it would be like la 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 la. Vikram was straight up like, I'm coming to Vasant Kunj. Want to meet? Like, I did not have
to go through that process.
Till then, I hadn't gone through it to somebody who said, let's meet. Like, let's immediately meet.
Right.
I had gone through a few dates where they were like, okay, yeah, we'll meet and baat hui and all that. We met.
But it never happens. Yeah.
But it was never approached in a really casual way. Like, I'm coming. You want to have a cup of coffee? Let's meet.
Right.
And yeah, I still remember it was a Monday evening. I met him at Monkey Bar. And
of course.
The
go-to place for all dates in Vasant Kunj, right?
Because I'm like, because I live there. So I'm like, yeah, ye to main ghar ja sakti hu apne bhag ke. Like, if this is horrible.
Exactly.
So I also always call.
Plus, it's a glass monument, so everyone can feel
it's
safer.
It's a super date place.
Right.
Okay. Anybody watching this podcast
right.
needs to know that it's a super date place.
True.
Because it allows you a sort of cute romantic environment. It has interactive things like a pool table, a foosball table.
Exactly.
It gives you cocktails which are not too expensive. And, there is
and it's
easy
got
parking.
Music. Easy parking, yeah.
So it ticks all the boxes as far as a good date place
Yeah.
is concerned. So yeah, I met him. It was a very good first date. We spoke about just about everything. And yeah, I mean, it's been very fluid with him. Like, I met him a couple of times, and then not couple, like I met him several times, and then it was like, you want to chill with my friends. I remember meeting you as one of the first few people I met in his friend circle. And then dheere dheere, it just went with the flow. I never felt an effort with him to say ki, oh, like, अच्छा ये फ्रेंड सर्कल के साथ ना वो जेल नहीं करेगा एंड अगर मैं उसको ले जाऊंगी ना तो वो awkward फील करेगा या or vice versa. Right. All of us have gone through those situations where like, but if I bring her, then it'll be weird, and if we go, then maybe that friend circle doesn't gel.
Right.
So वो सब thought ही नहीं आया, and just
of course his friends were amazing. So
I mean, sitting with one today, so definitely. Yeah, and honestly, that's another huge thing in this relationship. I found so many cool people. I found friends like you. I found people who
This is completely non-scripted. We should put a disclaimer. So go on.
It is not. It is not scripted.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely. I've met so many cool people. I've met. I've had so many fun interactions with all of you, all his friends, and crazy laughter. And I've laughed so much with this boy and all his people.
Right.
And vice versa. But yes, because the way he is and he has so many different friend circles, I've had a ball in these 3 years just being around him, being with him, being with his friends, and now they're my friends.
Right.
So yeah, I got very lucky, and I'm very thankful to Tinder. I don't know ab kya situation hai wahan pe. Yeah,
I also don't know. The last time I checked, it was the whole city was on it. So
yeah, now it's Bumble and
I wouldn't be surprised if few parents are also on Tinder because everyone is on Tinder. But you getting married during the lockdown, during the pandemic, and how has that been? Aren't there specific rules in you can get married, about the venue and stuff?
There are. So there's a people limit, as you would know. Any social gathering can be now up to 100.
Okay.
So that's a decent enough number, yeah. We were like, ये तो बढ़िया है.
पहले 50 थी.
पहले 50 था. And we were doing it in that also. We were thinking कि 50 people.
Yeah.
And 10 of ours, 10 of yours, 10 friends, 10 your friends, and we are good to go.
Right.
But it's been interesting, and I was laughing with Vikram also because I was telling him that it's hilarious the timing that you proposed and this happened, because you could have proposed last year or maybe next year, so that it could have been easier for us. But now that we're doing this in the middle of the bloody pandemic, and I am planning a wedding in the middle of a pandemic, honestly, it's been very easy because discounts. I'm getting discounts everywhere.
That's nice.
Where I don't even want a discount. People are like, ये तो discount पे है. Madam,
Right.
So everything is very easy for me because everyone's willing to just come home and do it. And I anyway wanted it to be really intimate. So this is a great way because it just weeds out anyone who's not really necessary but has to be there.
You know who you are.
I'm not gonna
let's skip it.
Yeah. And of course some people who we wanted should be there but can't be there.
Right.
You know, it's both.
Right.
Some relatives who we would really want that but they can't because they can't travel. So yeah, I mean it's been it's interesting. I don't mind it, and honestly I don't know why, but I'm not super paranoid about coronavirus. So
yeah, I mean we're younger, we can get over it probably. I think the virus is getting weaker also. I hope it is.
Yeah, I don't know all of that, but I do know is that you've got to do what you've got to do. Obviously don't be stupid enough to be out every day and every hour of the day.
I mean don't kiss everybody you meet.
Yeah, please don't, because that's going to be weird.
Pandemic or otherwise.
मतलब इस साल ही नहीं, but generally मत करना है. But
because of flu and other stuff.
And just general hygiene, like so basically it's been good. I'm planning it. It's happening in November. तो अब देखते हैं कि कैसा होएगा, because अभी सब कुछ आसानी से हो रहा है. So it's I don't mind the process. I am a little skeptical about the fact that how will it be to call so many people, like the responsibility of calling a number of people and then making sure that nothing goes array. But other than that, I think it's fine, and we're keeping it small. I, like my first thing was, we both are funding this wedding ourselves. This is our money we're putting on this wedding. We're not taking it from parents, we're not taking it from anybody. So the first thing I said to Vikram also was, let's have fun at this wedding. Let's make sure that you and I enjoy this wedding.
You're paying for it.
Yes.
So you need to get the maximum out of it.
Yes. And I was like, I want to enjoy the booze, I want to enjoy the food, I want to enjoy the dancing, I want to enjoy the decor, I want to enjoy the clothes.
Totally.
I want to enjoy everything I'm paying for. Because otherwise there is really no point. Really no point of throwing a party and doing this. So the goal is that, and it's nice. I'm looking forward to a married life.
Congratulations, by the way, again.
Thank you.
I mean, now that I have a platform to congratulate you on formally. Now the question that everyone must be thinking about right now: if you are getting married, who's gonna be doing your makeup? Yourself?
I don't trust this with anybody else.
Right.
Nobody else. I mean, of course, I'll do it myself. And honestly, to be honest, I would have probably hired someone, a few people who I really love as far as their work is concerned. But the thing is also कि भाई मैं क्यों खर्चूंगी वहाँ पे पैसे? Why will I pay anybody else for that one skill that I know I'm so good at and I'm professional at? Right. So definitely I'll be doing it myself.
Okay.
I know a lot of my own followers on Instagram have asked me this. Who will be doing your makeup? And are you going to be filming the process? And like all of that. Are you? I want to. It depends. I think I'm going to, because there are so many people who are asking for it. Right. So I think I should, because they should be.
I mean, if they want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a part of it. It could be fun. So yeah, I'll film it. I'll film it for sure.
Cool. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So your special skill within the makeup is eyebrows, right?
Honestly, not really. It became a special skill because I started working for a brand that specializes in brows. Like, it is the number one brow brand, awarded brow brand in the world.
The one you work with now?
Yes, Benefit. It's the number one brow brand for like services. So services meaning like grooming them. Right. And also product. So any kind of product that's developed for eyebrows. So yeah, I knew I was always good at it because I always got compliments about it. Right. I always did it well myself, and I also had this thing where I would look at a face and I knew that galat hai. Like, I could fix this. Yeah. So yeah, it just happened to be that it sort of matched, you know, what I was good at and what the brand is amazing at, and then it was like the perfect marriage between my skill and their product. So yeah, it's my specialty. I can groom any eyebrow, make it look fabulous.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So Umang, from one person with fantastic eyebrows to another.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
And congratulations again.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun to talk to you.